Well, it is just a huge honor today to be podcast interviewing Ahwatukee's only ballerina, Kimberly Lewis.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Kimberly's diverse dance career has taken her all over the world. 2017 marks her 24th year in business in the Ahwatukee Foothills community. She has studied with top dance instructors and major dance companies throughout the world. In 1990, Kimberly formed and was the director for 10 years of the Phoenix Suns dance team. 2010 marked a new era, new studio, a new name. In 2010, the gorgeous dance studio 111 opened for business. Today, Kimberly Lewis and Dance Studio 111 have achieved tremendous success and acclaim. Her studio has voted the #1 dance studio 11 times in the Ahwatukee Foothills community as currently as November 2016. November 2010, Kimberly Lewis was awarded Businesswoman of the Year. In the fall of 2012, Kimberly founded a new nonprofit organization called The Next Generation of Fine Arts, in which young dancers, choreographers have the opportunity to create and show their creative work. This charity is designed to give back young dancers as well as to the fine arts in our school systems. In the spring of 2015, Kimberly founded Studio 111 Theater Company, and in the summer of 2015, the first production of The Wizard of Oz, and 2016, Beauty and the Beast, and 2017, The Little Mermaid. Kimberly's unique combination of experience, creativity, and caring attitude has made her one of the most respected dance educators, performing arts, and dance school owners in the country. Kimberly worked with her staff to bring the Nutcracker Ballet to the Ahwatukee Foothills community. In December 2000, the very first annual Ahwatukee Foothills Nutcracker Ballet was performed in our community. Today, we celebrate the 18th anniversary of the Ahwatukee Foothills Nutcracker Ballet. Arizona Central named the Ahwatukee Foothills Nutcracker Ballet the top 10 bucket list of holiday events to attend in Arizona. Kimberly enjoys traveling to Baltimore to watch her son Alex Lewis start as left guard for the Baltimore Ravens and spends time with her daughter Taylor, who made the move to Baltimore from New York City when her brother was drafted. Her daughter Taylor is a fashion designer and owns her own activewear and swimsuit line called Cove. Her younger daughter, Avery, is a sophomore at Desert Vista High School and is on the elite dance team at Dance Studio 111 and was cast as the Snow Queen in the Ahwatukee Foothills Nutcracker Ballet. Kimberly enjoys traveling, skiing, cooking, and entertaining and travel the world. My gosh, how come you live in Ahwatukee and not New York City?
Well, I did live in New York City, and many years with the hustle and bustle, it was time to locate to the desert, and it's home. I've been here since 1990, and it's my home, and I love the Ahwatukee Foothills community. I like to stay in my little, I call it the little Tukey bubble, you know?
Yeah.
And shop local, eat local, do everything. This is home for me.
Nice. I've only beat you by 3 years. I moved here in 87.
Okay.
You moved here in 1990. Where were you born and raised?
Nebraska. The Midwest.
Oh my God, I went to Creighton in Omaha.
You did not.
I did.
Great school. I went to the University of Nebraska.
Oh,
Big football family. You know?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So we all went there. My son went there. My brother. You know, they all played football there at Nebraska, and I was a Huskerette.
Tom Landry.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The greatest. Probably him and the Bear were probably the two greatest football coaches ever.
Yeah. Really good. Really good coach. I can't believe you went to Creighton. That was a good
I was
school.
born and raised in Wichita. Went to Creighton.
Okay.
I went to Creighton because in Wichita, in Kansas, they didn't have a dental school.
Okay.
And the only dental school, the only undergraduate college that had their own dental school was Creighton. So I thought that was the best move.
I have some dancers that grew up in my studio that went to school there and are becoming dentists.
Wow, what a small world.
I know.
And the one thing I didn't realize is that in Nebraska, when you don't have a professional football team like the Diamondbacks and the Suns, college football takes on a life of its own.
It's a life of its own. And the football stadium on Saturday is the third largest city in the state of Nebraska. Yeah, on a football Saturday. It's amazing.
Yeah, and you only get tickets when somebody dies.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
And you know, when it was a basketball team, I forgot which one it was, and was going to move to Oklahoma City. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people thought, Oklahoma City, there's not enough people to have a professional sport team. And I said, if that will be the only professional sport team in Oklahoma, oh my God,
I know. Well,
it will be bigger than life. And I think they got more fans in Oklahoma City than we do at the Phoenix Suns.
Well, it could be.
Yeah.
Not back in the 90s, you know, when I was there. The Phoenix Suns, that was a hot ticket, let me tell you something.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
when Charles Barkley was there.
Yeah, those were the years.
You know what I love most about Charles Barkley?
What?
Well, you didn't grow up as a bald man. And when I started losing my hair in high school, it was like I caught cancer or something. Everybody was telling me they were sorry for me, and oh my God, and what are you gonna do? Are you gonna wear a wig, and are you gonna get plugs? And I was just like, dude, it's just my hair. I mean, I couldn't believe it, but the reaction was overwhelmingly like everyone felt sorry for me. My own mother did, and then the Phoenix Suns with Charles Barkley made it to the playoffs with Michael Jordan and the Bulls.
I was there.
And for 7 games, the whole world watched 2 of the most handsome men in the world, bald, play each other for a week. And I swear to God, Kimberly, the day after that series,
fashion
bald was
statement.
cool.
It's cool.
The comb overs started getting shaved.
Yeah.
Men with hair started shaving their heads.
Yep.
And since that game, no one has ever felt sorry for me being bald.
Well, you're a fashionista. What can I say?
It was Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan.
There you go.
I mean, can you name any more handsome bald men than Charles Barkley and
They're
Michael
very
Jordan?
handsome men. I have to agree with you.
I mean, that's
yeah.
So your son got into football. How did a ballerina produce a football player?
Well, my son grew up as a dancer.
No way.
Yes, he did.
Does he tell his college
actually
teammates this?
he did a full. I was shocked when he was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens. One of the first interviews he ever did, he actually talked about his dance training and growing up in the dance studio. I was shocked because it's something he wouldn't talk about for years, and now because every article they write about him, it's his fancy footwork and what great feet he has and how good he is with his feet. And of course, I'm going to attribute that to all of his dance training.
What position?
He starts at left guard. Everybody else plays left tackle. He can really play any position on the offensive line. Offense. Yeah, he plays all the positions on the offensive line. So
you're tall for a woman. How tall are you?
I'm 5'10", and he's almost 6'7". He's tall.
How tall was Dad?
6'8".
Okay.
Yeah, Dad was 6'8".
Wow. Did Dad play football?
He did. He played football, played in Nebraska, played in the pros.
Played in the pros for who?
The Raiders and the Cardinals. That's how I ended up here in Arizona.
The
Cardinals. He played for the Cardinals, yeah.
Wow. So how many years he played for the Ravens?
My son, this is his second year. He was a rookie last year.
Who's the iconic Raven that I know who it is? But
Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis.
My gosh, what a charismatic man.
I know.
Ryan, can you find your son on the internet? Is he on YouTube? Or?
Go to Google and Google search Alex Lewis grew up a dancer. There's a whole article about him growing up as a dancer in the dance studio.
Any YouTube video from that?
Yeah, there's a YouTube video.
Find that. Can we put it at the end of the show?
You can. Of course you can. He did the interview, so why not?
I think you just made some Ravens fans right here in Ahwatukee.
We have a lot of Ravens fans in Arizona, actually. We have our little West Wing group. I'm going to do a little plug out to my West Wing AZ family out there. And
what's West Wing AZ family?
It's all Raven fans from all over get together and watch the games together and just have fun. They just moved it to, I think it's called Bootleggers, is where they get together now and watch the game on Sunday afternoons.
And where's Bootleggers?
Up in Scottsdale.
Oh, you got to find a place in Ahwatukee.
I know.
We got to move that to Bob Ennis.
I've been trying to say that. We need it here in Ahwatukee. I know.
Oh my gosh. We should move that to, we got to
get some little Raven fan group going here in Ahwatukee, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I love watching the games. Instead of watching it here by myself, I go to Bob Ennis and watch it on the patio. There are some crazy Cardinals fans.
So that's right. That's diagonal from my dance studio. So Bob Ennis is right here, and I am right there. You know where Madison Avenue Day Spa
across the street? Okay, so
you could actually
you're
see
Bob
my
Ennis
studio.
behind CVS and Kohl's.
My studio is the other way. Do you know where LA Fitness is?
Yeah.
I'm right in that mall there.
Okay,
next to
LA
Madison Avenue Day Spa. Right next door to Madison Avenue.
Do you know the owner of Madison?
I do, Sean Lewis.
Send her down.
Yeah, I know.
Send her down.
Yeah.
I'm a man. I imagine our clientele's all women.
Sean is a man, him and his wife.
Seriously?
Madison, Sean and Debbie.
And you're right next to them?
I'm right next to them.
Behind LA Fitness.
Right. Well, LA Fitness is here, and you go down the way, and it's right in here.
Okay, so your website, let me pull it up, is...
It's www.dancestudio111.com.
And well, first of all, let's start back to your journey. Where were you born and raised?
Nebraska.
But we're in Nebraska.
Lincoln, Nebraska. Capital.
Lincoln in the capital. So, in your journey, how did you end up in dance?
Well, my mother took me to my first dance class when I was 2 years of age in Nebraska, and I can remember my first dance class. It was something I fell in love with at a very young age.
Was it the theme from The Wizard of Oz?
It wasn't the theme.
Were you Dorothy?
It was Tiny Little Trooper. I'm a tiny little trooper, and I'm here to stay. It was a cute little tap number. And I was just
at age 2.
At age 2, and I can remember it. I can remember.
Holy moly!
And we lived out in the country, so and the dance studio was.
You were born in Lincoln, though.
Out in the country in Lincoln, Nebraska, on a horse ranch.
So your parents were raised horses or corn?
They have a horse ranch. My mother's an interior designer. My father's a contractor. My father actually built most of Lincoln, Nebraska. I mean, he even built the south side of the Nebraska football stadium.
Wow.
I know. So my mother's from New York originally. Met my father when she went to school in Nebraska and ended up staying there. So that was what was so nice for me. Being that I love dance, not only did I just train in Nebraska, but I had the opportunity to go to New York and study and train in New York City.
So what's your mom and dad's ethnicity? To make a 5'10"
Well, my father is German, and my mother was an orphan, so we don't really know what it is.
Really?
Just a little bit of everything.
Because most girls aren't 5'10".
No, they're not.
Would you say you're in the top 1%, 10%? As far as height, what ratio would you say?
I don't know. Probably, I don't know. There's not a lot of...
They don't know. You should have your mom do 23andMe.
I probably should do that, huh?
I had it done.
Did you have it done?
And I did it because one of my friends was an orphan.
Okay.
Her mom and dad were Mormons visiting in Mexico.
Okay.
And some little girl ran and put her on their lap. And they thought it was a sign from God, so they took her back to Mesa and raised her.
Oh, wow.
And she did that 23andMe and just loved it.
Really?
Yeah, and I did it and was, I don't know what to think of it because I was 4% Neanderthal. No, it's all good. So you know the story on that? So when I was at Creighton 30 years ago, they taught us that Homo sapien had not left Africa for 78,000 years. That was 30,000 years. That was 30 years ago.
Okay.
Now they know from the Human Genome Study that just like with cats, there's lions and tigers and cheetahs and pumas. Mm-hmm. There were 5 groups of human hominoids, and other groups left Africa 2 million years ago, like Neanderthals up in Europe, and the Denisovians over on the eastern China, Asia to Australia, and so Europeans. So the Homo sapiens, when they went up to Europe, they met the Neanderthals and they mated and bred with them. They eventually extinct them, but so a lot of Europeans are like 4% Neanderthal. But when you get over to from Siberia all the way down to China to the Aborigines, they're Denisovan. And so I was.
How interesting!
It's very interesting.
Oh my goodness!
And they're on the lookout when they do the DNA studies. They think there's other cats. You know, that we bred with lions, tigers, cheetahs, pumas, all these things like that. But so German women are tall then.
Oh yeah.
But you should have is your mom alive?
Yes.
Oh my God! Have her get on 23andMe. And it'll it's the founders of Google are Sergey Brin and Larry Page. And it was the owners of Google's wife who was really interested in this. So she started 23andMe, and it's really going to turn out into a research project because all these people are paying for her. You pay and you get a tube and you spit in it, fill up a vial, and you mail it back. They analyze your DNA, but it's going to be in this huge database. So maybe you join 23andMe and maybe 5-10 years from now they call you back and they say, hey, we just looked at your gene. You might have this disease. You need to go get this checked out or something like that.
Interesting. Very interesting.
But yeah, we'll find out who's more Neanderthal.
There you go. Yeah, could be me.
I'm sure it's me. Since you're a dancer, you must be all sapien. So your mom took you to dance studio at 2 and you were hooked.
Yeah, I was hooked. I knew.
So you danced all through high school?
I danced from that point on. I haven't stopped.
Did you dance in high school or college?
I did.
Where'd you go to college?
University of Nebraska. I was a Huskerette. Yep, danced on the dance team there.
Was it a dance major or?
I minored in dance. I studied all over the world. Really? I was really fortunate because my parents. My dad was a pilot. He did it as a hobby. He had a plane, and he would fly me all over the country where I wanted to go study. So I was given the opportunity to, if I wanted to go to New York and study, he'd fly me there, or to California, or to Chicago. Even though I lived in Nebraska, we're right there in the center. the United States, and he would just get me on his plane and take me wherever I wanted to study.
Nice.
So I studied all over. I was very fortunate.
You were
and
a daddy's girl.
I still am a daddy's girl. Once a daddy's girl, always a daddy's girl. That's a good thing. And I studied a lot in Europe. I went to Europe and studied there, and I had a home-based studio growing up. And then, I would branch out from there and go. And that's kind of how I run my studio now. The dancers that come to our studio, our Dance Studio 111 is our home base, but I'm really big into going and traveling, whether it's to California or to New York or to Chicago, wherever we can go, Colorado. And I take my dancers and we go to all these conventions and study with the top master teachers from all over the country, because it just, training with as many great teachers as you can just makes you an amazing talented
So your
dancer.
journey from Nebraska to Arizona is because your husband,
that's how I ended up. Well, out of college, he got drafted by the Raiders, and we were in California with the Raiders. No, this is when it was in El Segundo, the LA Raiders at the time.
Okay.
Then
Never
from
even heard
there,
of
well, it's right close to LAX area.
El Segundo.
El Segundo.
That's a city.
Yeah, little city.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah,
but anyway, that was the LA Raiders.
That was the LA Raiders, and then when he was traded to the Cardinals, that's how we ended up here in Arizona.
Who was the coach that brought him in at that time? Buddy Ryan?
No. Oh my goodness. Joe Bugle.
Joe Bugle.
Joe Bugle. Sorry.
One of the early ones.
Kind of went blank there for a second. Coach Bugle.
And a lot of the Cardinals went to Ahwatukee because their headquarters is just up the street on Warner.
Well, when
and
we
Priest.
first moved here, it was just the Cardinal training facility and the Safeway on Elliott Road. That was it. We stayed at the Country Inn Suites there. That was the hotel that we stayed at right there. And they were just building everything out in the foothills. The golf course was just built.
Right.
And that's how they kind of gave us a tour of the foothills, and that's how I ended up out in the foothills.
And the marketing thing the Foothills had, you know where the Foothills Golf Course,
right?
Where the opposite, that first house next to the golf course?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's where Ryan was born.
Oh, really?
I lived there for 20 years.
Oh, my goodness.
And what the Foothills did is the training center was on just
right.
Warner.
On Warner, yeah. Exactly.
Across the interstate. Mm-hmm. What they did is if a Cardinals bought a house down in the Foothills, their numbers, the jacket, so the numbers were all 480, 460.
Right.
And then they give them their letter numbers. So if you're number 29, you'd be 480, 460, 2929.
Right.
And that was actually... my gosh, back then at that time, I think the office, I think we had a dozen Cardinals players.
Oh, yeah. No, they all lived out in by the Foothills golf course.
So when you moved to Ahwatukee, you started a dance studio. How long did it take you to start
I didn't
a
start
dance
the
studio?
dance studio when I moved to Ahwatukee. I didn't know anybody in Arizona at the time, and I'll never forget. We're in a hotel room, and I'm like, I gotta, teach dance, do something here. And I was watching the Lakers. This was May of 1990, and they were playing the Phoenix Suns. And I was in the hotel room, and I remember this is before the internet and the Google search and everything. And I'm watching the game, and I go, wait a second. They don't have a dance team for the Phoenix Suns. They had the Gorilla, but they didn't have a dance team. So I'm like, you know what? I need to start my own career here in Arizona, and I've started many dance teams in my life, and I've danced on many dance teams. I'm going to start a dance team for the Phoenix Suns. That's just what I was going to do. And so what I did is I got out the yellow pages, this big, thick yellow pages at the Country Inn Suites, opened up the phone book, looked in the yellow pages, the Phoenix Suns organization, and I called them up and said, hi, my name is Kimberly Lewis. I'm new to Arizona. This is my background as a dancer. I noticed you don't have a dance team. I'd love to start a dance team for the Phoenix Suns. And basically, they said, we're not interested. Thank you for your time. And hung up the phone. Well, I wasn't going to just take that one hang-up phone call and stop there. I just kept calling, marketing department, PR department. Finally got through to the game ops. I said, listen.
The game ops?
Game ops, game operations.
Okay.
I said, listen, this is my idea. I'm watching your game. I can see that your Phoenix Suns gorilla is like an idol, I want to take him and I want to teach him how to dance. I'm going to put some background dancers behind him. I will put up all my own money. I will invest in all the costumes. I will hold the auditions. All I'm asking for is let me train your gorilla and let me have the opening game in November. And they said yes. And so from May till November, I held an audition, and I couldn't use the Phoenix Suns name. I had to just say, I'm Kimberly Lewis. I'm starting a dance team. It could turn into something pretty spectacular. I just need you to believe in what I'm doing here. And so I would meet privately with the Phoenix Suns gorilla at night and teach him, you know, for 2 to 3 hours every night from that May till that November. And then meet with the girls.
2 to 3 hours every night?
Every night.
He was committed.
It was very committed.
Wasn't he like a gymnast or something?
Yeah, he was a gymnast, but he wasn't a dancer. So it was like starting at a beginning level and working your way up. So what I did was back in the early 90s, you know, MC Hammer, Can't Touch This. I had the big balloon pants made and put the gold chains around the gorilla's neck. And he came out on that opening game as MC Hammer.
What year?
1990. 1990. We played the Lakers. I think we played the Lakers that night for the opening game. And he came out as MC Hammer in these pants, and he had the moves down. It just brought the house down. We had a standing ovation. The crowd went nuts. The dancers were behind him. You know, Can't Touch Us. Da, 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 da. It was hilarious. And then the other routine I did, he was John Travolta, Go Grease Lightning, and the girls came out behind him. So we did 2 dance routines. And I got a call after that opening game the next day from Mr. Colangelo himself. And he says, well, you proved it. He goes, I guess we have a dance team here. So
nice.
That's how it all started.
And you didn't take no for an answer.
I didn't take no for an answer.
So
you never take no for an answer.
Most people do. Most people fear rejection.
Well,
I remember when I was in college, I'd be with all my dental school buddies, and they'd go to a bar, and they couldn't even ask a girl to dance because they were just so afraid.
Oh, that's
sad. She would say no, and they would sit there all night. And I'm like, well, she's not going to bite you. She's not going to shoot you. The only thing she can do is say no.
Yeah.
But fear of rejection is tough. So you were just so internally strong.
Well, I was passionate about it. I knew that I could do a great job at it. I was very confident. I knew it would turn into something spectacular, and it did. I mean,
so you did that in 1990. For how many years did you do that?
10 years. And
was it the same gorilla for 10 years?
It's been the same gorilla. Yeah.
Is it the same one now?
I don't know. When I was there, it was the same gorilla. He might still be the same gorilla. Can you say his name?
No,
I can't do that.
You can't say his name?
I can't do that. He's the Phoenix Suns gorilla.
Well, you know, they do that at Disney, too. At Disney, you know, you grow up in Korea or Japan, listen to Mickey Mouse in Korean.
Right.
So when you go to Disney World, they're not allowed to talk.
Right.
Because it would shatter this little Korean girl's mind if you found out
I know.
Mickey Mouse spoke English.
My older daughter, she's a trained dancer, of course, and she danced for Disney at Disneyland. So she loved dancing there.
I think the 4th of July parade
is
in
amazing.
Disneyland. I mean, I've taken my 4 boys there 5 times in 20 years.
That's awesome.
The costumes.
I know.
And it's just amazing that man could just have all those weird dreams. I mean, who could take that guy serious?
I know.
And it's an icon of America.
I could tell you a story. My great aunt from New York City was asked out on a date by Walt Disney, and her father would not let her go because all he did was draw cartoon characters on napkins and told her he doesn't have a future, so you're not allowed to go on a date with him. Isn't that crazy? There you go.
So your website is Dance Studio 111. So tell us where 111 comes from.
Well, I used to be, for 16 years, I was up over on Fry's on East Ray Road. That's where my first studio was.
In Ahwatukee?
In Ahwatukee.
Fry's, no,
Fry's grocery store on East Ray Road in Ranch Circle. Right there?
Right up from here.
Where the melting pot is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where
you were in there.
I was in there, and it was...
From what years?
1994 until, let's see, this is my going to my 8th year, my new location. So what year was that then I moved over to the new location?
So you were next to Fry's by the melting pot for 8 years.
No, for 16 years.
16 years
I was there. And then we just outgrew that location, and then the space came up. It used to be a Kawasaki plant where I am now. When Kawasaki moved out, then I moved into that location. And I wanted a fresh start with the new location. And the suite on that is 111. And I knew I always wanted my dance studio to be called Dance Studio something. So when I moved to the new location,
Which is where?
which is over on 4910 East Chandler Boulevard, right there by Madison Avenue Day Spa that I was telling you about. I'm right next door to them.
By LA Fitness. So on 48th Street, you turn into LA Fitness.
Right.
And LA Fitness on the left, and the right.
And you just
there's
keep
like,
going right around, and you'll see there's a Bahama Bucks, Lefty's Barbershop, and Dance Studio 111.
You forgot the Waffle House.
The Waffle House is there.
That's
Yep.
that's.
Yep, the
I
Waffle House.
only eat at restaurants if they have the pictures of the food.
Well, there you go.
So that leaves me Waffle House in the aisle.
That's it.
Because I can't read or write, so if I don't have a picture
You
of the
have to
food,
point.
I have to
You
point
have to
to
point
the-
to it.
So
Point
you're
to it.
behind the Waffle House.
I'm behind the Waffle House.
Nice. And
Yeah.
how long you been there?
This is my 8th year at that
So the
location.
address was 111.
The suite number was 111. And have you ever Google searched 1111 or 111? Have you ever Google searched
No.
the meaning of it? It means angels are around you, positive, happiness is around you. So it just was fitting, you know.
So on Twitter, you are Dance Studio 111. Kimberly Lewis at Dance Studio 111. So this is Ahwatukee Uncensored. So can I ask some below the belt questions?
Well, we'll see if I'll answer them. You can ask them.
I have heard, and I hope this doesn't offend you.
Okay.
I have heard some people think, well, if I put my boy in dance, and he's with all these girls, you know, will that make? I've been a dentist here 30 years, so I've
Okay.
heard a lot of strange comments, chair side. They'll say, well, I've had probably a lady every 5 years say, well, I want to put him in, I thought about putting him in dance, but he was with all these girls in leotards, and I didn't want to make him gay.
I don't think that dance makes you gay.
I know that. I know that. My little brother's gay, so I totally know that. But I'm telling you, some people think that. I've had people say that to me in Ahwatukee. There was they say, well, I dropped my son off, and he was the only boy, and it was all girls, and then I was watching him prancing around with the girls. It was like, I didn't want him to be gay, so
There's nothing wrong with being gay.
Exactly.
You know?
My little
I mean-
brother Paul's gay, and and his birthday was yesterday. But you've never heard that?
You know, I don't really listen to things like that. To
Yeah.
be honest with you, I really don't.
So what percent of your class is boy versus girl?
We do have it's low. I'm going to be honest with
Yeah.
you. It's very low.
But don't you think that's part of it, where
No, you know, I
macho
don't.
men don't want to put their little boy in dance?
You know, I really don't think about that. I mean, you're either going to want to do dance or you're not going to want to.
But
do
you know
dance.
what I'm seeing a change from when you and I were little is no names mentioned. I know Arizona Cardinals football players from the past and coaches in the past living in Ahwatukee. They're not going to let their kids play football. They don't want the head injuries. They don't want the concussions. Remember the guy from the New England Patriots that murdered a couple people inside, and they sentenced him to jail, and in jail he hung himself. They just did the autopsy
on him. Yeah,
he had stage 3, stage 4 is stage 3 brain concussions. So I think that, and then soccer is they're not allowed to use their hands, but they're using their head all during the game.
time. Yeah.
And I hear so many parents in my office say, he's not going to get into boxing. He's not going to get into MMA. He's not going to get into football. He's not going to get into soccer. I'm going to put him in something where he's not going to have a brain injury. So I think things like dance are going to explode going forward. Do you agree with any of that assessment?
Again, you know, you're talking to a mother who has a son that plays football, and I have more of a positive outlook. I think in any sport, in anything you do, even dance, you can get a brain injury. You know,
Really?
in anything you do. I mean, dancers are leaping and jumping, and that can be said in anything in life you do. Walking down a staircase, you can fall and hurt your head. You know,
Ryan hits me with a frying pan at least once a week.
there you go. But, to get back to your question, my son, he grew up in the dance studio. He would go to school, and he talked about this in his interview, and from 3:30 to 9 o'clock, he was studying every form of dance. And he didn't care what anybody thought of him doing it. He didn't bother him.
He was 6'10".
And look
at
what-
6'10", you don't have to care what anybody thinks of you.
But in answer to your question, I do have a lot of pro athletes that do train privately. You know, I don't name names, but they do train at dance and do a lot of private lessons because it does help them in whatever sport they're playing, whether it's soccer or football or track and field. There is so much benefit that comes from training as a dancer, working on your core, stretching at the bar, that helps in so many of these athletes.
Yeah.
You know, Eric Swan was one that broke the barrier when he was training as a ballet dancer. I don't know if you remember.
Eric Swan?
Not Eric Swan. I'm sorry. I take that back. Not from the
Pittsburgh
Cardinals.
Steelers?
No, not Eric Swan. Scratch
No, he
that.
was the 49ers.
No. What was the player's name? But anyway, long story short, I didn't let my own son, he didn't play football until he was entering high school. So he studied in dance. And, you know, like I'm repeating myself here, but he has great footwork because of it. So
Eric Swan, I don't know if I can say this on the podcast, he was a patient of mine when he was Arizona Cardinals. He was drafted straight from high school
right
to the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
What an amazing man. He played in 10 NFL seasons from 91 to 2000 for the Cardinals and Carolina Panthers. Just one of the nicest guys you'd ever meet.
Really
in your
nice
life.
guy.
Handsome, classy, just a great guy. Number 98.
Anyway, so there are a lot of athletes that take ballet and train in.
So it's mostly what percent girls, what percent boys? What is the age range?
Well, at our studio, we start them as young as even 18 months.
No way.
18 months. They're like little sponges. They learn so much. The younger they are, they just soak it all in.
Well, you know what I noticed about the elite athletes, like say Arizona Cardinals in the Valley, you'll see them at Bikram yoga. You'll see them at dance. They tell me that they're into cross training. I mean, they're not in the Marines where they just do push-ups, sit-ups. I mean, they want all this elite movement. They do yoga. You're saying they do dance. They really cross train.
Yeah.
And push themselves in 100 different directions so that they can catch that one-handed pass.
If you look at the studies of the dancers that grow up in a dance studio and their scores in school, especially when they start 18 months, you have to remember they're using their brain constantly. They're learning all sorts of different steps and choreography and having to remember it and learn it quickly. And they'll go, you know, a lot of them train from 3:30 to 8:30 straight through, you know, 5 days a week. And like right now on Saturdays, they're in Nutcracker rehearsals because we're getting ready for the Nutcracker Ballet. And then there's a whole nother side of dance where there's competition, where you go and you compete against other dance studios. You know?
How amazing. With help from Mom, Ravens Alex Lewis perfects offensive line dancing. What a handsome young man you have there.
Isn't he handsome?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You take all credit for that, boy?
Oh, well, absolutely.
My gosh. Will he ever play for the Cardinals?
You know, I was pretty happy with the Ravens. It's a pretty awesome organization.
And it's Baltimore, so it's really Washington, D.C., too. I mean, how far is he from D.C.?
It's about a 40-minute drive
Yeah,
from
I
D.C.
mean, it's a 40-minute drive to go to the football stadium here.
Yeah.
And
very close.
That's just a really fun area. Okay, so Ahwatukee Dance Studio. So it's Dance Studio 111, which is your address, but also means angels. So if all my homies went to Dance Studio 111, what are they going to find at your website?
Well,
And who's that little gorgeous
that's
girl?
some of our dancers that are our little dancers.
That's not your granddaughter? That's
No.
Are you a grandma?
Yet.
You're not a grandma yet?
Not yet.
So what are they going to find if they go to Dance Studio 111?
Well, we offer training in all forms of dance, from ballet, tap, jazz, lyrical, contemporary. We teach acrobats. We do point. I don't know, did I say hip hop? We also have a full performing arts studio, RLS Music Studio, does voice lessons, piano, guitar, drums,
lessons?
everything. We're a full performing arts studio.
What is voice lesson?
Learn how to sing.
So there, you can actually coach someone how to sing
Absolutely.
better?
It's all under
It's
one
not
roof.
all just
It's
a gift?
everything. It's not just, oh my goodness, you can teach anybody how to dance. You can teach anybody how to sing. You can teach them how to act. Absolutely.
You know how I know there's singing is something you're born with? is I had, because it's cultural preference. I mean, you look at women like, hundreds of years ago, they like fair skin. Now they like dark skin. The Greeks like heavier women, So that's all culture. But when I had my 4 boys, I would rock them in the chair. They couldn't have been a year old. And I would sing to them. And they would reach up of their hand and say, "Daddy, no." And I thought,
well, you should.
How does a 1-year-old, when a 1-year-old baby knows you can't sing, there's something to it.
But you never took a class. You couldn't have possibly been a really good singer. You missed your calling. Okay,
I could have impressed a 1-year-old if I took your classes.
There you go. You could have come and take classes. Right under the 111 roof and learn how to sing.
So the one thing I like most about what you do is I've read so many studies, especially with girls, that if girls after high school are involved in anything, it could be chess, checkers, volleyball, dance, the chance that they'll get into drugs, get pregnant, drop out of school plummets. So
absolutely
Gandhi
true.
was right. Idle hands is the work of the devil.
That is so true.
Having a girl in grammar school, in high school, say, "Oh, it's 3 o'clock. I get to go dance," as opposed to, "I'm going to go home.
Right.
My mom and dad don't get off till 5. They don't
Right.
get home till 5:30. So I'm going to get high with my boyfriend and get pregnant and drop out of school." That's the problem.
Well, I truly believe, just because now this is 24 years, so now I've been in business. So I have the generation that grew up in my studio. Now they have their children dancing at my studio.
Isn't that nice?
And it's not just about training for dance. It's also preparing for life. You're going to learn at Dance Studio 111, not just dance, but also life skills that you're going to take into your adulthood. I'm so proud, and I love following my dancers that grew up, because every dancer, the majority, I shouldn't say every, but the majority of these dancers that grew up dancing at Dance Studio 111, they are successful in whatever path they took. They went to college. I have doctors and dentists and lawyers
You got
and
a dentist?
teachers. I do.
Here in Ahwatukee?
Well, I don't think she's practicing in Ahwatukee. I think she's back east is where she's practicing.
Well, email her and CC me, Howard at dentaltown.com. Love to meet her. That is such So she grew up in Ahwatukee?
Grew up in Ahwatukee. So, do you see what I'm saying? Like, they're learning life skills. They learn how to work well with others, be part of a team, respecting who you're working with, can handle any situation. They just learn so much more than just dance at the dance studio.
So why is that? Why would a little girl who studied dance grow up to be a dentist and not drop out of school?
Well, I think it's such discipline.
The discipline.
The discipline that, when you're talking, you have to not only are you dancing from 3:30 to 8:30 at night, but you're figuring out your time management, getting my homework done, getting good grades, and again, it goes back to the memory, how you're remembering the steps and you carry it over into, your studies and your school, because you can remember things so well from a young age. You have to think. Here's an example. When you do one of our shows, like some of our dancers, they'll be in 16 different numbers, 16 different dances in one show. That means 16 different dances they're in. They have to learn the choreography and remember it, where they go, where they stand, the dance moves that they're doing. You're using your brain constantly.
You have this YouTube video. Can I at the end of our show put this Nutcracker video you did?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh! I mean, this is
the Nutcracker is spectacular.
This looks like something you'd see in Broadway.
Honestly, the costuming, the sets, the choreography, it truly is amazing.
And this is at Desert Vista?
Yeah.
Oh, now I know. When you said Desert Vista, I was thinking Mountain Point.
No.
So I bought the first house in the golf course.
The golf course there,
and the golf. You know what the Foothills was? Do you know what it originally was?
By Club West?
Yeah, no, not Club West. The Foothills Golf Course.
Right.
Do you know what that whole area was?
No.
That when I got here in '87, that was a provings ground for Caterpillar equipment.
Oh.
It was a demo area, so they would fly in very expensive clients from like Japan, Korea, Russia, and they had that Foothills. That was an amphitheater, and all those mountains had all those big caterpillars.
Caterpillars. Mm-hmm.
And those guys would get out there and they'd carve off roads and they'd do all that stuff like that. And the Foothills Golf Course, they had a actual amphitheater
Okay.
where they had plays.
Oh, I did not even know that.
And they still have plays there.
Is that where you're saying where the golf course is, the swoop there?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
So I was the first house next to that,
Right.
and I really liked it because they had a restaurant there. So it was Saturday morning, you didn't want to cook, you could walk over there and have breakfast.
Oh, we used to go eat breakfast there all the time. I loved it.
But they have a full auditorium.
They do.
Because they'd fill it up with these international people and show big movies
Right.
of their Caterpillar equipment.
Sure.
And then they go out there and they get a guy, and so all those roads and all those scars on the mountains.
Right.
Where it was a sales deal.
Okay.
And that's where I thought that Nutcracker was, because that looks like that theater.
Right, exactly,
Which is
yeah.
still there.
Yeah, it's still there.
But you're using the one
At
in
the high
Desert
school.
Vista.
Uh-huh.
And how many does that seat?
1,200.
Are you serious?
It does.
My high school in Wichita, Kansas, Bishop Carroll only had 800 total in the class.
Isn't that crazy?
And they have a theater that seats 1,200.
Yeah, they do.
And you do this Nutcracker
Every year. This
every
is our
year?
18th year.
And how many shows are there?
There's 3. We do 2 matinees on Saturday. This year is Saturday the 16th at 2 and 7 p.m.
Can you write that down in the notes?
I have it right here.
Oh, you have it right here?
Yep.
My gosh,
And
you are
after
prepared.
the 2 o'clock show, all the cast members come out in their costumes, the Sugar Plum Fairy and the Snow Queen and the Mouse King and the Nutcracker. And we have Santa Claus that comes out on stage, and you can come get your picture taken with all the characters and meet Santa and take pictures with Santa. And we have the snow falling inside the theater so the children can play in the snow. So
And it's assigned seating.
It is assigned seating.
So, and you'll have 3 shows.
3 shows.
So historically, do you sell them
We
all
do.
out? You sell them all
We do.
out?
It was voted one of the top 10
Right.
things to do in the state of Arizona during the holidays.
How's that feel?
It feels pretty darn good.
Oh my gosh. You are so
It feels
creative
pretty
and
darn
ambitious.
good. And the fun thing this year is they're
And that
actually
website-
making a
that-
documentary on how we put together this Nutcracker ballet, and we're hoping to have it submitted to Sundance Film Festival. Because
No way.
honestly, we have a whole film crew that's been there since we started our auditions in August, and they have filmed us every step of the way, and they're doing a full documentary on how the Nutcracker comes to life. So, it's pretty amazing.
Not to sound ignorant, but what is a Nutcracker? What is the story of the Nutcracker?
Have you never seen the Nutcracker?
I've seen. I know. My job is to guesstimate their questions. So when I'm asking questions, not like I'm always wondering that. My job is actually, but I have friends that when you go in their house at Christmas, one of their ordinances is
a Nutcracker,
a 4-foot tall Nutcracker. But I think there's a lot of people. Well, like Ryan, do you know what a Nutcracker is? No. So see, there you go.
Well,
Ryan doesn't
a
know.
Nutcracker actually, that you have the handle on the back,
Right.
and a Nutcracker was you put the nut, the walnut, or any type of nut inside the mouth, and it would crack open the nut. That's what a Nutcracker does. Okay, but the story behind the Nutcracker takes place in the early 1800s and Victorian era, where there's a Christmas party and the parents of Clara, and they have Clara the daughter and Fritz throw this gorgeous Christmas Eve party, and Clara's godfather is Hal Drosselmeyer, who's actually a toy maker, but he's not just a regular toy maker, he's a magical toy maker that makes magical toys. So he brings to Clara, his goddaughter, as a gift, the Nutcracker, and presents her with the Nutcracker at the Christmas Eve party. Well, at the end of the party, all the guests go. Clara falls asleep under the tree with her Nutcracker and dreams of him becoming a real-life prince. Well, during her dream, she's visited by the mean old Mouse King and his army of little mice, and the Nutcracker grows into a full-life Nutcracker and battles out the Mouse King. Clara wakes up and she sees the whole battle. And then at the end of the battle, the Nutcracker defeats the Mouse King and turns into a real-life prince, where he takes Clara on a sleigh through the night sky, where she's met by the Snow Queen and the Snowflakes, and they do their dance, and takes her into the land of sweets, where she's met by the Spanish Queen and the Queen of Sweets, and the Arabian Queen and the Marzipan Queen and the Butterfly Queen. And it's just a beautiful, magical holiday event for all ages to enjoy. and it's wonderful.
My God, you are so classy, so talented. That is,
Well, I have a great
that is
staff,
amazing.
okay? I have an
Great staff.
amazing staff. My staff's been with me, most of them, for 27 years. Some of my
Nice.
original Phoenix Suns dancers
Nice.
are still with me. So
You know, it's staff turnover is the
I am
first
so
red
blessed.
flag.
I'm
Yeah.
so blessed, and
I know.
they're my family. They're not my staff. So I can't take the credit. I have great team.
I've had
me.
so many people that have been with me 10, 20, 30 years.
know.
And
It's
and
wonderful.
it's so well, you were saying a lot of your students used to be kids dancing.
And now they're children dancing. in the studio.
I have patients come in and set their kid down in a car seat next to their chair, and I can still. It seems like it was yesterday
Yeah.
when their mother was
I
bringing
know.
them in a car
I know.
seat, sitting in
I
a chair,
know.
and I'm just sitting there having a flashback. Like, my God, it seems like yesterday.
It's just that circle.
And sometimes
yeah.
I'm too embarrassed to tell them because there's a couple times where some guy's been there and sat down his kid, and I'm sitting there thinking, I changed his
Yeah,
diapers. I remember when his mother was holding for an impression, and I changed the diaper while
But
she.
it
because she
takes a
couldn't do
village. It
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
I truly believe that.
So this is Awatuki Uncensored. So the final question.
Okay.
Money's the answer. What's the question? A lot of moms are out there, and they're probably wondering, well, what does this cost to put my daughter in this or my son?
Well, I mean, it depends on how many classes you take and what that sort of thing. There's so many different aspects of dance. If you're coming to train and do ballet class, you're taking just the ballet class, 4 classes in the month. If you want to price, it's $65 a month. If you take 2 classes, that's 8 classes in the month. That's $120. The more classes you take, you get a little
So
bit
it's
of a
not
breakdown.
expensive.
Well, I think dance can be very expensive when you start adding up. If you're going to be on a competition team and you're going to go to conventions and you're going to compete against other dance studios, so it's not just. There's so many different opportunities depending on what you're looking for in the dance
Is
world.
it just kids? What if she's?
No, I have adults. We have on Thursday night tappy hour where the adults come and they tap, and we call it tappy hour. And
How old is the range?
there's no age. That's what's wonderful about dance. You don't put an age. First of all, age is just a number, okay?
Yeah.
So we don't talk about age. If you want to come and dance, we're going to teach you how to dance, and we're going to teach you how to dance.
Let me
well.
just say this: if I went there at age 55, would I be the oldest guy in the class?
Absolutely not.
Really?
Nope. Absolutely not.
Does he have a walker or a?
No.
Really? He's not. Is he breathing oxygen or what does he do?
My dad just turned 80, and he dances every day. Plays the piano and dances. So
Nice.
He keeps you young.
Now, did he move to Awatuki? He's still
No,
back
they're in Nebraska. They're on their horse ranch in Nebraska, and he's still building buildings. He just started a brand new big job, and
At age 80.
at age 80,
Age is just a number,
works
isn't it?
absolutely.
Age is just a number.
Yeah.
Well, I called you to be on the show. You didn't call me. Big fan of yours.
Oh, thank you.
I've had many patients, many friends talk about you for many decades.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
I think you are definitely creative genius. You're certainly a pillar of the Awatuki community, and it was a huge honor to be able to podcast. with you.
Oh, well, thank you for inviting me. This was really fun, and I'm going to get you in a dance class for sure.
I'll do it.
I'm sure
I
you
will,
would. You
because-
seem like you would.
Because it's exercise
It
too.
is. Uh-huh.
It's
Yeah.
not just dance. Some exercise, like if you hate your exercise program, then stop doing it. Go find something fun.
Yeah.
Because if it's fun, it's sustainable.
I think you should come and do your podcast right at the theater at the Nutcracker.
At the actual play,
Actual play. You should
What-
set up and interview people going to the Nutcracker and what the experience was like. I think it'd be amazing.
well, there's the man you need to talk
You
to,
know?
Ryan. Are we going to go podcast
You
at the
need to go
Nutcracker?
podcast at the Awatuki Foothills Nutcracker Ballet.
Yeah. And
Get the communities.
and the date is
The 16th, there's a 2 o'clock and a 7 o'clock show.
Saturday, December 16th at
Or the
either 2
Sunday.
or 7.
Mhm.
Sunday, December 17th at 2 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can make the Sunday. Depends on what the Arizona Cardinals are doing.
Well, that's true.
I could.
But you might want
or
to do that.
Would the
but-
Nutcracker be better than the Cardinals game?
Well, you're asking the wrong person that question. What am I going to say, right?
Ryan, let's commit to that. Let's get it on the calendar and let's go do
You
that.
should go after at least after one of the 2 o'clock shows, just because all the cast members come out and sign autographs. It would be fun for you guys to interview and talk to the cast members after the show, and get a little feel about. It's such a community event. I mean, so many families come together. I have the girl that's Clara. She has family that's flying in from Amsterdam. Flying in from Amsterdam to go to our Nutcracker. For flying in from London. I mean, families come from all over to see this Nutcracker.
That is wild.
And you've never seen it, have you?
I've never seen it.
You have got to go see it this year.
But I do know that we're very lucky at Sky Harbor. It is a direct flight to London. It's a 9-hour straight shot.
That is true. I've done that flight.
British Airways.
I've done that flight.
Very nice.
It's very nice. Mm-hmm.
Ryan, can we commit to that?
Yep.
You got on the calendar?
Yeah.
December, it's going to be Saturday, December 16th at
December
2 p.m.
Yeah.
We'll listen to the Nutcracker, and then after the show,
I'll get you tickets.
before the next show.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I look forward to it.
Would that be a fun podcast to do?
Absolutely.
That'd be really fun.
And good luck on your film festival documentary.
I know, right? It's amazing.
I am here with Ravens 4th round pick, Alex Lewis. Alex, we're just going to ask you a few questions to get to know you a little bit. And first I have to start off with, you got to tell me the draft story. At the grocery store, what are you buying, Slim Jims? What were you there doing?
You know, it was just another day in life, and, you know, I was hungry, and, you know, we had food at the house, but family was a little nervous, so I needed a break, you know, go talk to some civilized people at the moment. So I ended up going to the grocery store, and a phone started ringing. I'm with my cousin, and I answer it, and it starts cutting out. And all I heard was home phone, so right away I just told the cashier I'll be right back. So jumped in the truck and sped home real quick, and then sure enough, Mom was still on the phone, and it was a cool experience. But you know, whole family celebrating before I even knew what was going on, but enjoyed it.
Oh, you're getting video bombs right now. By a former teammate, nonetheless, and your coach.
Yep, and my coach.
So did you go back and get the groceries, or did the groceries never get bought?
No, the groceries never got bought. I think the cashier lady's still wondering like why I left in such a hurry.
You're a wanted man right now. So you got to tell me, what's your best attribute as a football player?
I would like to say I got pretty good footwork,
Nice.
just because my mother, you know, she owns a dance studio, so growing up, you know, I took dance at her studio, and, you know, she's real proud of it, and that's her claim to fame.
How many years of dance did you take?
Oh, boy, about 10 years roughly that I was committed to it, but it's because Father wouldn't let me play football up until I was 13, so Mom took full advantage of it.
That's awesome. So what's your best dance? Are you a waltzer? What are you good at?
I'm pretty good at ballroom dancing. I like to puff my chest up about that one, but I do it all, you know, acro, hip hop, ballroom, you know, a little bit of tap. So
wow, I think, did you at all show this during the rookie presentation when they get the rookies up there? Did anybody ask you to dance, or is this the first time this is being revealed?
This is first time being
revealed.
revealed.
Boy,
so
you're in for it now.
This will be interesting to see what happens next.
That's pretty awesome. Well, how's the transition going? Does dance help you on the football field, and just how do you feel like things are going so far?
Oh, you know, the transition's great. You know, I got a great coach and Coach Castillo. We got a great room. You know, we're all vibing off of each other with our Ronnie Stanley in there. You know, we got Steph on them. I mean, everybody's from different backgrounds. Everybody has a different story. And it's really great to share that, you know, share our experiences, and, you know, you learn from one another based off of what each of us have been through. Right. You know, I'm bumped inside, so the transition's a little easier than it would have been if I stayed out at tackle. And, you know, I've enjoyed it, and I've had a lot of help along the way.
What do you like better, guard, tackle?
I like them both. I just want to be on the field so I can hit somebody. So.
Nice. All right, I got some quick fire questions for you here, all right?
All right.
First question, what's your favorite TV show or movie?
Ooh, Game of Thrones.
Nice.
Simple.
You watched it yesterday?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Favorite movie? Any Quentin Tarantino movie.
Nice. All right. What's your favorite Quentin Tarantino movie?
Favorite Quentin Tarantino? You have to go with the original Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
All
right. Next, if you had a career other than football, what would it be? I guess dancer.
No. I'm too big to be a dancer. I'm not skinny enough. But no, if I had another career other than football, yeah, I like working with steel. I'm going to steel shop down in Arizona. Took a few steel classes while at Colorado. You know, fell in love with the welding and just what you're able to do with the material. And you know, I like to do sculptures for cities and plazas and complexes.
Nice.
So.
Would that make you a steeler if you work with steel? Because that would be bad.
You could be an artist.
Okay, all right, we'll say that. All right. And last, what's your favorite animal?
Ooh, favorite animal? My 2 dogs. And
okay.
I go nothing wrong with dogs, man. Dogs are the best thing there are, and you know, my dogs are my kids, and you know, I got an Australian cattle dog mix and a border collie mix. So
nice.
I don't think any other animal could top them as my favorite.
All right, cool. Well, Alex Lewis, everybody, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.